Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. Good morning.
Good morning.
Welcome to the 17th annual CSF-DC Costco Breakfast Fundraiser. Thank you all so much for being here. I'm Lester McKee, Executive Director of CSF-DC, and I have the honor to greet you this morning on behalf of the team and the over 1,100 plus students and families we serve here in our pre-college and college programs. I know you had an opportunity to network last night and again this morning over breakfast. I hope you had a chance to talk with our students. Students, would you put your hand in the air? There we go. I want you to know that we are extremely proud of those young people. And not only are you talking with some of DC's best and brightest, but you're also talking to the future leaders of our city and our nation. So I'd like you guys to help me give them a round of applause, because without you, there would be no us, and then there would be no them. So would the students and the CSF-DC team please stand and let us say good morning and thank you to you. So students, the team, please stand. Thank you, guys. For the past 17 years, you, our sponsors, our partners, our colleagues, and most importantly, those of you who have become literally friends of the organization over the time, have joined us on an incredible journey to ensure and guarantee a college degree for all of our students and secure the futures and careers of our young people in DC's Ward 7 and 8. With your support and friendship, we've served nearly 6,000 young people and their families, and we did the biggest thing possible, and that is to promise and guarantee hope. Hope for a brighter future, for the possibility of the creation of lives and careers of their choosing. So, given that commitment, I want all of you to look across the table and around the room, and ultimately, just give yourselves a round of applause, because we thank you for the incredible work you've done with us for over 17 years. I'm particularly pleased to thank our underwriting sponsor, Costco Wholesale, and the dedication of the national team led by Ron Chris, and the unique support and dedication of our East Coast Costco team, led by Yoram Rubinenko, our board member. And ladies and gentlemen, would you join me in asking for the Costco team, wherever you're from, whatever your role, would you please stand and let us thank you. As you can imagine, an event as important as this one is, but more importantly, the years of support that we've received from Costco and others makes this work easy to do, because we know we have friends. But I think it's important that we say thank you to some of the major funders and sponsors who have been our friends over the years. So I'm going to call out some important funders now and supporters, but then we're going to do a little game, okay? So I'm not going to tell you what the game is, just be ready. When you hear a number that sounds right for you, stand. But right now, I want to recognize our board member and his organization, Allied Marketing Incorporated. Richard, please stand. The team from Allied, if you're here, please stand. Thank you, gentlemen. Republic National Distributing Company, where are you? Please stand. Bioport Korea Incorporated, where are you? Please stand. There we go. Thank you, guys. Costco Wholesale Northeast, where are you? No, you got to stand. You can't just do this. Let's go, Mary. Lead the team, Mary. Danica, lead the team. Stand up. Thank you. Chip and Vicky Maggot, where are you? Chip? All right. Our board chair, ladies and gentlemen. Joe and Andrea Patero, where are you, Joe? There we go. Hey, Joe. Johnson's Brothers Service Distributing of Virginia, where are you? Thank you. Overseas Food Trading LTD, where are you? There we go. Thank you. And finally, the Universe Corporation. Where are you, Universe? There we go. Thank you. Thank you. Now, here's the game. You ready? Hear a number that sounds familiar. Please stand. This is your first time joining us for the breakfast or anything related to CSF-DC. Second. All right. Stand. Second. All right. Third year or third year support or involvement. Okay. Fourth year. All right. Fifth year. Thank you, sir. 6 years. 10 years. Did I miss somebody in that gap space? Okay. 15 years. Come on, I know some of you are out there. I see your faces. Thank you, thank you. And 16 years of interest, investment, and service. Please stand. Come on, this is big stuff. Thank you, gentlemen. And those of you who have been with us every year at this breakfast for the last 17 years, please stand and let us thank you personally. Come on, you gotta stand, you gotta stand. You know, and even after my shtick last night as a pirate, I still can't get people to cooperate. Anyway, a special sense of gratitude and thanks goes out to all of you who have given your time, shown some interest, financial support, or friendship. It means so very much to us, and definitely it helps to make us be here every year. Our work is guided, ladies and gentlemen, by the passion and the sound counsel of the CSF-DC Board of Directors. And so I'd like the Board of Directors, the CSF-DC, to please stand, led by Chip. Board of Directors, let's go. I know you see some familiar faces. Thank you guys for your leadership. And finally, join me in thanking our national teams and leadership colleagues from Washington State who've taken the time to fly across the country like some of you have done to be with us this morning. National team, CSF, please stand and be recognized. All right, so now let's take care of some real business. The bet. Long time ago, we made this decision, right, to place a bet on the future of young people in Ward 7 and 8. And we gather every fall to showcase this mission-centered work, to celebrate the progress and growth of our organization, and to spotlight the achievements of our kids. And to thank you all, too, for coming on this journey with us. In 2006, 2007, at the time of our founding, right, there was this idea that was already floating and working well in the state of Washington. For CSF-DC, it was merely a concept, right? It was the thought that we could create an organization fueled by the passion of Bob Craves and Ann Ramsey Jenkins, and we could transport that idea, that promise, to DC. And along the way, that same funding organization said yes, there and here, and that's the Bill and Melinda Gates Foundation. The bet was simple but powerful. It was a belief that students from low-income backgrounds could be mentored and supported from middle school all the way through to the completion of a college degree. The premise of the bet was rooted in the radical idea that an education nonprofit, really, with the help and assistance from the community and corporate partners, with lots of research and lots of money behind it, quite frankly, could create a seamless pathway to support and embrace and develop young people into college-ready scholars, not only capable of completing their degrees, but capable of changing the college-going culture in their families and their communities for generations. In 2007, 2008, CSF, the organization, along with many other organizations, believed that the major access barrier at that point was money, right? That kids didn't have enough money. We had to put lots of time and energy in scholarships and financial aid. We believed that that financial barrier, right, was really going to be the predictor of whether or not a kid got in and through college. Well, so many organizations relied on the public, private, and charter schools to provide the kind of educational criteria for college success, while we as organizations that supported the schools and students would focus on non-cognitive exposure, college tours, sound admission advice, and then the financial aid support. But very quickly, we all began to realize that schools needed internal partners, right? It wasn't just enough to treat the kid outside of the school environment, that we had to join with schools. And we had to assist students each day with one-on-one advisement, developmental coaching, attendance monitoring, authentic college and career planning, and we had to get trained coaches in there, folks who really understood student development. We had to get admissions and financial aid coaches and experts, right? We had to get new technologies, new platforms. We had to shift. Our staffing model had to change. The skill sets of our people had to improve. And we needed to scale up the organization with new programs and new activities that would be more relevant to what the kids were interested in and where they wanted to go. And we realized, above all, that consistent professional development, skills development, was necessary for our people, our school partners, and more importantly, for our students and our parents. And so it created an organizational change agenda for all of us, right? And through it all, we understood that the lift would be heavier. It would cost more, probably, and it did. But you guys stayed with us as we retooled, we re-engineered everything, and the results of this quote-unquote change agenda is the CSF-DC that you see today, right? So we also found that scholarships alone weren't the answer, right? These kids had to be adequately supported in their academics, in their social-emotional development, in their family dynamics. And we did it all together with your help. And so the bet said, if we brought all of that to the table, right, and we offered that to students and schools, that scholarships would still be an important part of the puzzle, but the student would be competent and capable of acquiring the scholarships, over $4 billion worth of scholarships that gets left on the table every year. And so I want my young people to do this one more time, because we out there after that money, and they are capable. So the bet was, the new bet, right, was that CSF-DC could build a scholar from grade 7 and continue building the student's academic competence while simultaneously building the students, helping build the students' mental focus, their character, their discipline about life and about study, and fine-tuning, co-creating with our students their aspirations, their goals, and their dreams. So let me tell you what we got from the bet. I'm gonna give you a chance to read it, but then I'm gonna read it, so, you know, for all those who are my age in the back that need the glasses, right? The bet was the right choice, ladies and gentlemen. 87% of all CSF-DC students evidence a C or better in all 3 of the major gateway courses. Not 87% of them get a C plus in 1 in all 3. So they are making the cut as they move from grade to grade. 99% of CSF-DC students graduate from high school on time, compared to 91% nationally and 80% for Black students nationwide, and 74% for students in the District of Columbia. 87% of CSF-DC students enrolled immediately into college after graduation. That's compared to 63% for students across the nation and 57% for Black students. 76% of all CSF-DC students that went to college returned to college at their same location for year 2, compared to 76% nationally and 65% for Black students. The average CSF college student earns a GPA of 2.91. The national average GPA is 3.15 on a 4-point scale, so we're gaining that ground. 52% of our students graduate within 6 years, compared with 64% for all students nationally regardless of income, and 40% of Black students who are considered Pell eligible, and 45.9% of Black students of all income. And finally, and I think these speak for what the work is really about, right? 74% of CSF-DC college graduates pursue careers in high demand and very important fields. They major in education, in public and social services, psychology, health, STEM, communication, and journalism. So not only are our young people going to college, getting their degrees, but they're going into areas that are going to be in high demand and especially needed as we begin to market, right, who we are, and what we do. So I'm gonna let these sit here for a minute. We don't want to brag, but let's brag. I want you to understand this is regional and national data. You can read it for yourself. So the data suggests, really, that bet that was made in 2006, 2007, that we could have and create a pipeline, right, for students from middle school all the way to college completion, right, done. CSF-DC scholars are not only outperforming their peers, right, in terms of high school graduation, college access, and degree completion. Data suggests that the expanded work we've done is already making sure that our kids are entering into high demand fields and they're making the cut. Now we stand on this cusp, right? Again, where we have to try to make a new bet. And I'm going to ask you to raise your hand if you think the new bet will work, because we're going to need your help, okay? We believe, and I've got a team of national folks who will probably raise their hand because it's part of our mission and our new work. It's not just about getting the college degree anymore. It's not just about getting a good job anymore. It's about having the ability to create a future for yourself as a transformational leader in your space. What does that mean, right? Well, we want to make sure everybody gets the benefit from the degree. But, we need to create healthy lives, self-sufficient homes, and develop these leaders who can enter their workspaces ready to grow because they know. So this work and our success would not be possible without the continuous financial and thought partnership that we've gotten over the years from the world's largest and leading education think tank. The past 15 years, Bill and Melinda Gates Foundation has partnered with us in this work. And when I mean partner, I mean partner. $116 million worth of partnership. So give Bill and Melinda Gates a hand, round of applause. It gave us the founding resources and capital to not only plant ourselves deep and rooted in the city of DC, but also to expand our work, not only here, but in Washington State, and hopefully soon into Maryland and Virginia. As I close, right, it's more than fitting for us to talk about the partnership and how it happened. From the inception of that Gates investment and the founding of CSF-DC, to the closing investment, because now we're done, it was for 15 years, the expansion of our work, the Gates Foundation has been there every step of the way, giving us the guidance and, more importantly, the thought partnership necessary to be successful. So giving this, it gives me enormous pleasure to acknowledge and present this year's Legacy Awards to 3 individuals who were very important, not only to the founding, the maintenance, and the continuation of CSF-DC, but they have been incredible partners to me personally, to the team, and I think you will recognize some of these faces. Maggie, Kevin, would you please join me on the stage, please? Before I present the awards themselves, let me say a few words about this year's Legacy Award recipients. The CSF-DC you know today would not be possible without the enormous influence, commitment, talent, and passion of these 3 incredibly gifted but very shy educators. The first is Jim Shelton, our first Gates program officer. Jim is now president and CIO of Blue Meridian Partners. Jim oversees today. Jim, stand for me, please. I know he hates this, by the way. I'm going to probably pay for this dearly. Right? He makes sure Blue Meridian's outreach is actually, and their investments are racially, ethically practiced. And I think it's important to know that Jim, at one point, served as the Deputy Secretary of Education, was the founding executive director of My Brother's Keeper, and was the president and chief impact officer at 2U. He later served as the founding president of education for the Zan Zuckerberg Foundation, or initiative, as you call it, and immediately joined Blue Meridian, he formed a Manla Enterprise, an impact and investment advisory firm. Our second honoree is Opukawa Oduro. Opukawa was our final Gates program officer, senior program officer. For well over a decade, Opukawa has led national projects and programs out of the USA Education's Office and Division at Bill and Melinda Gates with increasing administrative authority and responsibility. Prior to her service at Gates, and that was well over a decade, she was also the global program manager for Net Hope, a collaborative consortium of the world's largest humanitarian and technology organization. She's also been chief IT trainer and communication lead with the Office of the New York State Controller and served as IT managing consultant for Accenture. Thank you, Opukawa. Thank you, Jim. And finally, for a face I know you know. In fact, Herb Tillery, or Herbert R. Tillery, more formally, was our founding executive director and has been the face of these events for many, many years, and the life of the party, right? Herb served for 14 years as executive director. He was responsible for implementing our engagement with Gates and creating the CSF-DC presence in the community. No small feat. We were new, we were outsiders, and we were young. And it took someone who understood the politics of inside to get it done, right? So Herb was the deputy mayor of operations, providing leadership and direction for the offices of contract and procurement, public work, listen to this now, contract and procurement, then public works, motor vehicles, and health. Now, I don't know how he did all that, but he did it. Prior to that, he also served as the director for the Center of Excellence in Municipal Management at the George Washington University, and proudly served his country at the rank of colonel in the U.S. Army. So, ladies and gentlemen, it is my honor and my privilege to present to you this year's 2024 CSF-DC Legacy Award recipient. Jim, Opukawa, Herb, would you come forward? It reads College Success Foundation, and it says CSF-DC Legacy Award presented to James H. Shelton III with deepest appreciation, September 24th, 2024. Here you go, my brother. Same reading, but to Opukawa Oduro. And finally, to our guy, Herb Tillery. Now we're going to stand back and give the mic over to our honorees for a second, and then we will close out this part of the program. Jim?
Morning, everybody.
Morning.
So he mentioned that I don't really like these moments, and that's when it's about me. But the reason I agreed to come today is to make sure that you fully appreciate, as a person who, how you doing this morning, sir? Who was there at the very beginning, exactly how big a bet it was. And in fact, what underlined that bet was a series of promises. I want to thank everybody who kept their promises. Yeah. The Bill and Melinda Gates Foundation you heard about, Costco, Thank you. But the person I need to thank today is Herb Tillery. So the data showed what you saw today about nationally. But you need to remember that there was a thing called the Double in Numbers report that happened right before before this started. And that report analyzed the graduation rates and college completion rates of schools all throughout DC. And so wards 7 and 8 were not just chosen randomly. They were chosen because they were outliers, not in a positive way, in terms of the number of students who were completing. Now, to anybody who lived here, that was not a surprise. In fact, it wasn't a surprise to me because that's where I grew up. But when you look at these numbers comparing national figures, you need to understand that the legacy is that these were the schools that were performing the least well in graduating their students and getting them to go to college. And so what you have seen here pales in comparison to the feat that actually was accomplished. And it would not have happened if Herb had not stood up. There were promises that were not kept. I won't name folks today. But in the face of each of those challenges for 14 years, Herb and that team stayed in the fight and gave love to every single student. You didn't come here to hear me speak today, but I need you one more time to honor Herb Tillery. Thank you, one and all.
Good morning, everyone. It's such a privilege and honor to be here, and thank you, Les, and thank you, CSF, for this acknowledgement. It means a tremendous amount. I'll be brief, but I'll just say, first of all, I am in awe and inspired by so many things. First of all, the opportunity to be in person with Herb and with Jim and the work that they did to lay the groundwork so that I could come along, 10 years later and try to take forward the mantle in this partnership. So thank you both for your work and for your courage and commitment to these students. When I first took over the scholarships portfolio, it's probably 8 years or so ago, it felt a little bit transactional. I lived in Seattle, had an opportunity to, sort of meet grantees remotely, but it was when I came to DC and Les took me to a school to meet students where I caught that passion and fire that I know that so many of you in this room already have, and many of you are going to catch as well who are newer to this organization. These students are absolutely phenomenal students. And we can see it in the statistics, and you can see that for every goal and objective that's set, they meet and exceed that goal and objective, and the bar gets higher. And that is a testament to what they are capable of doing, what they're able to do, their fortitude, their commitment. And so I just deeply inspired by the students that I've met. And for anyone in this room, because I think there are students sitting pretty much at every table, if you have not personally spoken to a student yet today, I encourage you to do that before you leave. And you will leave with your heart full, because their promise about our future, it's exuding from them, what they're interested in doing, what they have already accomplished. So I encourage you to do that. The other thing that I have been deeply inspired by in this partnership has been this team, the College Success Foundation team. They are a learning organization. You heard Les talk about the shifts and changes that have happened over the years. They didn't come in and just say, let's just take forward what our original plan was. They are creative. They invest in technology. And the thing that I've learned that is most special about what they do, And this came from my engagements with both Les and James, is how deeply they love these students and this community. And so when you hear about the technical things that they do, they provide these supports, starting in middle school all the way through high school and into college. But what you're not necessarily as exposed to is the love that they are wrapping around these students. And that counts for so much as well. So I just want to say, the Gates Foundation is committed to investing in communities in ways that are catalytic and that we hope are sustainable. And this investment has been a great example of that, because this organization is poised to really sustain these types of supports and grow with the support of all of us, as long as this is needed. And that has so much to do with just the creativity, the care, and the hundreds of years of experience inside the organization that they bring to bear every day in service of these students and their families. So I encourage you today just to support generously and get to know the organization beyond just the name and the statistics, but get to know the people and get to know the students. I think you'll find that worth it, because CSF is truly delivering on the promise. So thank you.
Say something?
So I hope that you are able to understand what I'm about to say. It's sort of difficult for me to speak. First of all, I want to thank Jim Shelton and the Gates Foundation for taking a chance on the students in Wards 7 and 8 in Washington, D.C. They should have chosen any community across the country, but they chose us. And that, in a big part, is because of Jim and his commitment to the city of D.C., being a homeboy here. I also want to thank Apupara for picking up the mantle and continuing to fight for us in front of the Gates Foundation to continue the support for these young folks here in D.C. I want to thank Joe Patel, who, on behalf of Costco, has been a champion for us, specifically here in D.C., through many years to ensure that we got the proper support we needed from Costco. And therefore, I want to thank everyone in the room who has continually supported young people that you did not know, but you took a chance on. And so I hope that they have made you proud. And then I want to thank our board chair. I should say our, my wife keeps telling me, you're not there. But I still feel that this is home for me. So I want to thank Chip for his many years of being the board chair and demanding high standards from us. And we demanded high standards from the board, and it has been a great relationship that continues on. I want to thank the staff of CSF-DC. I'm sorry, folks, I'm running on, but I don't get this chance often. But I want to say those who have been with us from the beginning. Kevin London has been there from the second year and is still there. And I've always thought continuity is important in the lives of our children. Many of our young folks come from situations that have caused broken relationships. And for personal growth, it takes, as you know who raised kids, it takes that continuity in their lives to move them from one stage to the next. And so I thank the staff for their continued continuity there. And having Lester to come on has been, just a godsend. And I also want to thank the young people who have entrusted us as CSF-DC with their lives and their future. They've taken a chance on us and felt that we should help them move to where they needed to be. And so I hope we made you proud. I'm proud to be here today. I told Jim Shelton early on that when I came to CSF, as you've heard Lester mention, I've done many things in my life, but I found my purpose. And many times you can go through life and you never really know what your purpose is, but you just keep moving through it. And coming to CSF, I was sitting in my office one day, thinking about the young folks that we've impacted. And I said, you know what? This is where I was supposed to be all my life. And as I reflected with Jim earlier, I realized every job that I have had in my career, from the military through, my side job that I didn't realize, I have always helped young people in the community in which I served. So God sent me to this job through Jim and the Gates Foundation and selected me to find my purpose and spread it. So as I tell my young folks, find your purpose in life. I tell them all the time. Then step into that purpose, own it, and then you can move forward with what you want. So thank all of you all for being here today. I really appreciate it. Lester, thank you so much for this. Lester's been trying to do this for 3 or 4 years now to get me to come back. And he used Jim Shelton to get me, and then he used me to get Jim. So Jim, thank you for being here. We both don't like this stuff, but we love helping kids. So thank you all for all that you do.
Ladies and gentlemen, the 2024 Legacy Award recipients, Jim Shelton, Opukawa Adoro, and Herb Tillery. Ladies and gentlemen, give them a round of applause. Well, I think I've said enough here. Last night I came to you as a pirate. Today I'm wearing my glasses. I can actually see you all and not bump into you accidentally like last night. So as I close, I want to say a word that the program is going to be as printed in your brochure. And it will include testimonials from our kids, you know, a Q&A session with our partners. So I invite you to sit back, enjoy the rest of the program. And again, thank you and welcome. But more importantly, thank you for staying true to help us make this promise, this bet, a reality for the kids of Washington, D.C. So thank you very much for coming to this celebration, being the celebration, and being with us this morning. Thank you so much. Program will move now.
Good morning. Happy Tuesday. My name is Joetta McLemore. I am the CPA at H.D. Woodson, Friendship Collegiate, and Kelly Miller Middle School. Today I have the pleasure and the joy of introducing our high school speaker. When we talk about our students, we often smile. When we mention the name Corey in our office, we smile. As you listen with your ears, but hear with your heart and your mind, you will learn about Corey and his journey, about decisions that he made as a child to move from one parental home to the other. Like Mr. Shelton said, I too I grew up in Ward 8, so I understand a lot about our students and what it takes to get from A to B every day, the challenges, the obstacles. As you listen to Corey's story, you'll understand how some of his mentors from Kelly Miller Middle School, Dr. Cox, how he planted seeds in Corey early on, how the teachers there and the mentors, how they helped him. They molded and they shaped him, and then they let him go to H.D. Woodson. You'll also understand why Corey is passionate about helping one of our most vulnerable communities, and he'll explain more of that in his speech. I've had the pleasure and again the joy of working with this young man for 4 years. We always hug at the end of our conversations, whether I am Miss McLemore or I'm in mom mode sometimes, because I fuss at my babies. But at the end of a conversation, I always tell them, I love you. Corey's response is, I love you more, Miss Mac. So without further ado, I introduce to you all Mr. Corey Arnold.
First thing I want to say is good morning to all of you. Good morning. Thank you, Ms. McLemore, for that nice introduction. Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. My name is Corey Arnold, a senior at H.D. Woodson High School. I'm really excited to be here this morning to give you a glimpse of into my journey as CSF-DC scholar. My entire life has been spent growing up in Washington, D.C., specifically in Ward 7. I grew up in the historic Potomac Gardens with my mother. My living conditions weren't bad, however, a lot of drugs and violence pervaded my neighborhood. From an early age, it was clear that I did not want to be around or follow this path. In contrast, my father lived in a better area in Northeast Washington, D.C. Due to the differences in the neighborhoods, I knew from a young age that in order for me to live the comfortable and prosperous life that I wanted to live, I would have to leave this area, where I would not be in danger of being shot by stray bullets, getting swept up in a drug game, or succumb to any negative things in and surrounding my neighborhood. In the 5th grade at Tyler Elementary, I asked my father if I could live with him. Without hesitation, my father responded, of course, but the process would take time. When the time came, I was quick on my feet and didn't look back. Upon moving into my father's house and settling into my new environment, I enrolled in Kelly Miller Middle School, where I developed relationships with teachers, mentors that will likely last a lifetime. As a result of these influences, I joined the College Success Foundation DC Scholars Program. I was eager to work with my college preparatory advisors or CPA to develop good study habits, earn good grades, and become a part of a program that was focused on and cares about my success. We often discuss my dreams and college career aspirations. Our group lunch meetings were educational, fun and filled with exciting moments and activities. During the 7th grade and the emergence of COVID-19, everything shut down. Online education became the norm. While quarantined, I diligently participated in my classes and completed my work even when classmates didn't want to, even though I did not want to. Sorry, fail. I also appreciated the fact that my CSF-DC CPA regularly checked in on me to make sure my schoolwork was being completed and that I was socially and mentally okay. Because of this, I have made outstanding academic achievements, which I carry into high school and continue to achieve to this day. Upon the completion of middle school, I enrolled into Howard D. Woodson High School. As I entered high school, I knew I could count on my CSF-DC and my CSF-DC advisors to continue to offer me support and guidance as I navigate new waters. When I met my new advisor, Miss Mack, love you, Miss Mack, I was excited that I would be able to continue my relationship with CSF-DC. During our one-on-one meetings, we would discuss the 7 domains: my grades, my attendance, and my coursework, as well as my future goals and aspirations. Ms. McLemore informed me of the many opportunities that were and are available for me to gain through experience through internships, service learning opportunities, summer employment, and various clubs that I can be involved in within my school. Simply put, having a strong balance between schoolwork and socializing or being involved in the life of the school is important. In addition to our one-on-one meetings, I also attended monthly group meetings where we talked about student issues and learned about and discussed the 16 habits of mind and the 26 principles of disciplined life. As a freshman, sophomore, junior in high school, I maintained a grade point of a 3.5 or higher. As I mentioned earlier, as CSF-DC stresses, the involvement in the life of school is essential. Because of this, I participated in my school's Technology Student Association. Being involved in this club, I have been able to compete in different STEM subjects and activities. I was also afforded the opportunity to travel to Orlando, Florida to compete against other students across the country in promotion design contests. Being in this club had also allowed me to teach computer science to my peers, where I created a presentation showcasing the opportunities offered in computer science to Black youth in Wards 7 and 8. As a bonus to this, CSF-DC has aided me in this journey by providing STEM activities in Saturday Academy. During our 20-plus Saturday Academy sessions during the school year, CSF-DC made sure me and my peers received assistance in English, math, science, STEM, SAT, and ACT preparation, and mock testing, assistance with completing schoolwork and homework, meeting deadlines, and improving our SAT/ACT scores. In addition, I have also attended many CSF-DC college tours. These college tours allowed me to see myself on the college campus and gave me insights into college life and what it's like to be a student on a college campus in college. When it comes to community service or learning service, my CPA, Ms. McLemore, always informed me of the opportunities to participate in these events and earn community service hours. Ms. McLemore ensures I participate in the DC annual project Give Back each holiday season. When I graduate in June of 2025, I will be attending a college that will support my career in technology, specifically in cybersecurity. I plan to study the analytical aspects of cybersecurity at Norfolk State University. Hopefully on a full academic scholarship. I want to do cybersecurity to help people who've been targeted by computer viruses and scams. After earning my degree and graduating from college, I aspire to work either in the federal government or for a leading company in the cybersecurity industry. I want to connect with others in this field, build my network, and open doors for and influence more Black youth in DC to get involved in technology fields, and fill more businesses and organizations with people who look like me. With the guidance and resources provided by my mentors at the College Success Foundation DC and your support, I will achieve my academic and professional goals. I appreciate you all for listening to me and for your time and attention. Thank you. Thank you. Oh, man.
All right, thank you for that, Corey. I'm super proud of Corey. I've known Corey, been working with Corey for 4 years, so that was very good to hear. Good job. Good morning. My name is Mr. Brandon White. I am an assistant program officer here at College Success Foundation, DC. Fun fact, they gonna hate that I threw this out. Longest tenure program member, also the youngest person on the team, so. But today I have the pleasure of introducing a student that I've worked with for the past 3 to 4 years. So I'm here to introduce a very hardworking, goal-oriented, determined student that I've had the opportunity to work with since they were a senior at Friendship Technology Preparatory Academy. All right. Frankie Mansoray is a dedicated junior at the Catholic University of America, pursuing a Bachelor of Science in Business Administration with a focus of human resources and entrepreneurship. Passionate about the community involvement and leadership, Frankie serves as a teacher's assistant at the Bush's School of Business, supporting the academic progress of over 300 students. Additionally, Frankie is deeply committed to mentoring first-generation college students through the Center of Cultural Engagement. As the events coordinator for the Black Student Alliance, Frankie manages event logistics and serves as the primary contact during these events. Frankie also leads the Iota Iota chapter of Delta Sigma Theta Sorority Incorporated as president, overseeing fiscal operations and chapter management. Professionally, Frankie has gained valuable experience through a youth apprenticeship and a summer internship at Accenture, and as well as an internship at Bank of America. These roles have strengthened Frankie's expertise in human resources, global communication, and client services. With aspirations to make a global impact in human resources, Frankie is committed to advocating for education in low-income areas and giving back to the community that has supported her journey. So without further ado, I would like to call to the stage Frankie Mansoray.
Hi, everyone. I'm so excited to be here in front of you all today. And, I gotta say, you don't really realize how much you do in your community until you're sitting up here and somebody's reading your brag sheet and you're just like, ooh, I am doing a lot, okay. So, just to reiterate a few things, my name is Frankie Mansoray, and I'm a junior studying at the Catholic University of America, pursuing my Bachelor's of Science in Business Administration with a concentration in Human Resource Management and Entrepreneurship. I enjoy taking part in community service activities, social action initiatives, and remaining in education and professional development opportunities. Today, as I stand in front of you all, I'm going to share my journey of how I began building my own legacy as a first-generation student from a low-income community. I will speak about how the College Success Foundation in DC gave me the power to write my own story. My journey begins at the end of my senior year in high school at Friendship Technology Preparatory Academy, Big Tech as we like to say it. Like many others, I had no plans for life after high school. I had the brains to get into school, but lacked real intention to make the moves. Then I met Kevin Munchin, or as I like to say, Mr. M, from the College Success Foundation in DC. Mr. M was many things to my high school self, mainly a pain in the butt. I'm kidding. All right. But he was persistent, driven, and supportive. Under his guidance, college became something worth pursuing. I started taking an initiative to learn about FAFSA, how to create course schedules, tips for applying for college, and tips for applying to scholarships. I became an active participant in my future. Till today, I cannot imagine my life if I hadn't crossed paths with Mr. M and the College Success Foundation, DC. They made my freshman year of college so bearable because they were a pillar of great support and counsel. As I entered my sophomore year, I decided I wanted to embrace the full-on college experience. I was gonna be buddies with my professors, I was gonna have like 3 to 5 different friend groups, and of course, maintain great academic standards. That did not happen. So, my mom changed her residency to Baltimore, Maryland. And when she did that, I could no longer qualify for DC grants and scholarship as her dependent, which meant school was going to become more expensive than it already was. And under extreme financial stress, worry, burden, it seemed like a great idea to get several jobs as a teacher's assistant, a hall security assistant, a babysitter, and a member of several organizations. Because of the financial stress and campus commitments, I was in a constant state of exhaustion and worry. I should have made an appointment with the financial aid office for assistance. I should have sought out relatives for some assistance. I should have considered other, more affordable schools. But at 19 years old, I didn't do any of this. I feared having to start over at another school. I went 3 weeks without saying anything. And then I reached out to Brandon Wright, another mentor working with the College Success Foundation, DC. My exact words to him were, "Good noon, Brandon. Are you available this upcoming Friday? I want to meet with you about keeping my scholarships as my parents are no longer DC residents." His response? "Yes, of course, immediately." We made tons of phone calls, scheduled several Zoom meetings, and had regular meetings on campus to problem solve. Once the dust cleared, I had funding for me to continue my sophomore year. And the first thing I did was thank Brandon for all his work, his time, and his efforts. And then the second thing I did was quit a few of those jobs. It's interesting. Now, in my junior year, my decision-making has improved. I only have one paid job on campus, and I continue to prioritize my schoolwork and remain active in few clubs and organizations. My undergraduate experience is now coming to an end, and it will be time to embrace true adulthood. Brandon has already been in my ear about what's my next steps, messaging me, and I'm like, "Brandon, please." I can't think of any other organization like the College Success Foundation, DC, that stands beside and with their students every single step of the way. I thank the College Success Foundation, DC, for not only helping me get into college, but helping me cement my place here. I thank them for helping me realize my potential. I thank them for helping me realize not only my potential, but for being constant pillars of support and strength. I hope all students can encounter the College Success Foundation, DC, just as I have, with your commitment and support. I know they will. Thank you.
Good morning, everybody. My name is Kevin Mungin, Director of Programs here for CSF-DC, and the student I'm about to introduce to you, Mr. Asadullah Jenkins. We go back a long way. I've known Assad since he was in the 10th grade. So I was able to watch him grow from, not going to say a little boy, but a young student who knew what he wanted to do, but wasn't sure how to get there. But had the drive and the dedication to grow, to learn, to ask questions, and to make mistakes and learn from those mistakes, and just become a better student in person. Before I met him, I met, at the time, his girlfriend. She was actually in the program before him, and I'll let him, as we go through, talk about her. But she's in the program as well. She was in the program as well. She went to school, and actually she's here today with him, and she is now his wife. But I think what I respect about Assad and Trinity is that they take care of each other. They put each other's priorities first. The one important thing that they made sure that each one of them did was finish school. They pushed each other, they supported each other, and even when Assad graduated first, he came up to Philadelphia, to Temple University, to support Trinity, to make sure that she pushed through and that she finished college as well. So I have nothing but the utmost respect for Assad. I have nothing but the utmost respect for Trinity. So please listen to Assad's speech and his journey with us and enjoy it. Thank you.
Good morning, everyone. Before I begin my speech, I told Mr. Mungin that better be the best introduction that he's ever done in his entire life. So he did not disappoint me. So, But again, good morning, ladies and gentlemen. My name is Asadullah Jenkins. I graduated from Thurgood Marshall Academy in 2018 and later attended the illustrious Clark Atlanta University in 2022, where I pursued my Bachelor of Arts in Criminal Justice and minored in Psychology. It is a tremendous honor to stand before you at the 17th Annual CSF-DC Costco Breakfast Fundraiser. As an alumnus of CSF-DC, I am excited to share my journey and celebrate the profound impact this organization has had on my life and the lives of so many young people like me. Looking back on my high school years, they're not that far away, trust me. I can confidently say that CSF-DC provided me with a transformative experience. I entered the program during my 10th grade academic year with feelings of uncertainty because I was a transfer student. However, the advisors took their time and understood my challenges and aspirations. The academic advising I received was more than just guidance on classes. It was about, envisioning a future and mapping a path to get here. My advisors believed that those dreams, that I was still figuring them out, and they believed in them as well. They provided personalized guidance that helped me navigate everything from coursework to college applications. Their support instilled in me a sense of confidence that I carried with me into my college years. The summer academic enrichment program is where my passion truly ignited. Those summers weren't just about academics, they were about discovery. Whether it was exploring new subjects, engaging in hands-on projects, or meeting inspiring individuals, those summers were pivotal in shaping who I am today. Those experiences were about opportunities for exploration and personal growth. It was because of those experiences that I worked as a teacher's assistant in CSF-DC's summer academic enrichment programs while I was in college. The coaching and mentorship I received were invaluable. CSF-DC mentors became more than just guides. They became advocates for my success. Their belief in my potential propelled me forward, especially during moments of self-doubt. They provided support and encouragement, which helped build resilience, a trait that has served me in my professional and personal life. Their unwavering faith in my abilities taught me the value of giving back. What makes CSF-DC truly remarkable is their unwavering commitment to our success beyond high school. Their support doesn't stop when we graduate. They stood by me as I navigated the complexities of college and launched into my career. CSF-DC understands the transition to higher education and the workforce can be overwhelming. That's why they provide resources, networking opportunities, and continued mentorship. They are there every step of the way, ensuring that we forge our paths with confidence and thrive in our new environments. After graduating college, I moved to Philadelphia to embark on a new journey and started my career as an assistant dean at Southwest Leadership Academy. Philly has a big place in my heart. Mind you, I'm a Philadelphia Eagles fan. I know I'm from DC, but I'm a Philly fan. I married my high school sweetheart, who was also a Thurgood Marshall alum, Temple University graduate, and scholarship recipient of CSF-DC. So put some respect on my wife's name. And we just had a baby, but she sleeps. See, I gotta keep that clapping to a minimum. I poured into the youth by creating a safe space for learning and creativity. I made a tangible impact on many lives and empowered them to pursue their dreams. This was just the start of my professional journey. I knew I wanted to pour back into my own community and ensure that my legacy is one of service and compassion. So I moved back to DC and accepted a position with the DC Homeland Security Emergency Management Agency. I currently work as an emergency management specialist. I take immense pride in my role within the Response Coordination Bureau, whether aiding residents displaced by fires or ensuring the smooth functioning of the district's Emergency Operations Center during activations. Our dedicated services aim to guarantee the safety of the entire city. What's particularly fulfilling is our team's commitment to inclusivity, bringing individuals of historically overlooked into the realm of emergency management and reflecting the diverse community we serve. As I stand here today, I urge you to consider the impact of your contributions. We need youth development programs like CSF-DC that are dedicated to providing academic, social, emotional, and financial support to our underserved youth. Together, we have the power to change lives and empower low-income students to pursue their passions with confidence. So let us come together to support CSF-DC in its mission. Let's ensure that every student feels supported, inspired, and equipped to tackle the challenges ahead, just as I did. Together, we can continue to build a legacy of hope and opportunity. Thank you for your generosity and your commitment to empowering the next generation. Let's make this morning one of impact and inspiration. Thank you.
As you can see, I was a little eager to get up here. Let's give all our speakers, Frankie, Corey, and Assad, a round of applause again, please. Good morning again to everybody. I'm Kevin Mungin, Director of Programs here at CSF-DC, and I'm honored to speak to you this morning and to host a panel with three of our partners as we talk about this rewarding work. You have just heard from three amazing scholars who gave you some insight into their world with CSF-DC and how we assist them in achieving their hopes, dreams, and goals. You heard Corey speak about how one-on-one meetings, group meetings, college tours, being involved in the life of the school, and Saturday Academy help him to develop into a well-rounded person and student. Frankie discussed how CSF-DC worked with her through phone calls, Zooms, campus meetings to solve our financial aid problems and issues. And you heard from Assad, who along with his high school sweetheart, who is now his wife, talk about how academic advising and the summer academic enrichment program and our commitment to him helped him envision a future and map out a plan to achieve his goals. For CSF-DC, students' dreams and goals are our dreams and goals. Student success is our success. We help students achieve by asking open-ended questions and just sitting back and actively listening. In our individual and group meetings, we teach them how to make wise decisions by talking about the 16 habits of mind and the 26 principles of a disciplined life. To assist our scholars when it comes to educational, social, and emotional development, we utilize the 7 domains. And to discover our scholars' dreams and goals and co-create a plan to achieve these, we use appreciative advising. Please remember, with your support, we can continue to work with students that you heard from today and the ones seated at your table to help them achieve their dreams and goals. Now, I want you to turn your attention to our esteemed panelists coming up. These partners are not only committed to the work of CSF-DC and the innovations we use, such as Chippy, our AI chatbot that informs our students and parents about CSF services, programs, and activities, as well as our use of Pathful, our career readiness platform, but our partners are also committed to our students. Our partners also hold us accountable for the work we do, but importantly, our results. Today, our panel consists of a local partner, a national partner, and a school-based partner. Please join me in welcoming Ms. Caroline Wirtz, Senior Director of Foundation Programs for the Shidell Foundation. Ms. Elizabeth Morgan, Chief External Relations Officer for the National College Attainment Network, or NCAN. And Mr. Sanjay Mitchell, Executive Director for Cesar Chavez Public Charter Schools for Public Policy. Welcome and thank you for participating in our panel. I'll sit down here with you all. All right. So before we get started, please introduce yourself and describe in detail your relationship with CSF-DC.
Thank you. I'm Caroline Wirtz. I am the Senior Director of Programs at the Shidell Foundation, which is a local grant-making foundation. And one of our big focus areas is college success. I first met College Success Foundation in 2017. Had a nice meeting with Herb and Lester. And I remember at that meeting, they presented to me a vision for updating the model of the program, and I immediately thought, this is it, that they've figured something out here. We began funding them in 2018 with a grant that was for general operating. Over the years, we've funded them for general operations and for special projects, but they've also been a part of a special initiative that we had where we invited 6 organizations from the DC area that were working in college success that we thought were really pillars in that field. We wanted for them to share information with each other, and we wanted to invest in them because we thought if we can get these 6 organizations really hitting on all cylinders and continuing to grow, if we can assist with that, they can really prop up this community. And so we have spent the last 6-7 years really getting to know them better and supporting their work.
Good morning, everyone. So it's interesting when Brother McKee said that the organization has been around for 17 years. I was like, wait a minute, I've been here for that long. Oh, don't do that. No, but I have been partnering with CSF since 2009. Back when Herb and I used to be at the table arguing about doubling the numbers, and back when I came in to start to continue to grow the college counseling program at Thurgood Marshall Academy, which you saw my student Assad as well as Trinity, and super excited about the accomplishments that they have done in their time, and now also supporting and partnering with the organization as executive director of Cesar Chavez Public Charter Schools. So I have been at 2 different secondary school organizations with CSF, working and partnering with them in this incredible work that they have been doing since that time. I loved the language of holding folks accountable because I do that very well with CSF, just to make sure that they are supporting our students and living out and carrying out that promise that was as part of the foundation and part of the establishment of the organization, but also being a good thought partner on the ground and being a good support to ensuring that the promise continues and lives on and actually actualize and move forward. A lot of this work cannot be done if you don't have good partnership. And if you don't have good partners on the ground that you are aligned with and where your vision and your mission matches. What's been incredibly important and fortunate for us and for me here is that both organizations that I've worked, Thurgood Marshall Academy as well as Chavez, our mission aligns so much with CSF that it was an easy partnership. It was an easy match. It makes the work lighter. It makes the joys more joyful. And in times when the work gets hard and where there are challenges, you have someone's back you can lean on, and you have a partner that you can count on to help you support to move things that need to be moved. So I'm incredibly fortunate. We are incredibly fortunate. Ward 7 and 8, the places that I have worked in my secondary school education experience here in DC, we are incredibly fortunate for that partnership and also the friendship. Kevin, I've known Kevin since I've moved to DC. And so happy to be here to support and then be a voice to articulating why this partnership and why this organization should continue into perpetuity.
Good morning. I'm Elizabeth Morgan from the National College Attainment Network. We're a national membership organization, more than 500 organizations around the country. We share a vision of a country where all students, no matter their race, their family income, their immigration status, whether their parents went to college, all students are able to access and succeed in post-secondary education. And CSF-DC has been a stalwart NCAN member since its inception because NCAN is based here in DC, and CSF-DC is here. We are able to have an especially close relationship, I think. Herb Tillery served on the NCAN Board of Directors for many years, and we benefited from all of his wisdom and his incredible network of connections around the country. We have also executed a number of projects with CSF, and they are just unstinting in their willingness to give back to our field. Nothing is proprietary with them, as you'll find in much of our field. They are willing to share with like-minded organizations around the country. They're always there for training and any opportunities that can help move our field forward.
Thank you. I appreciate that. So how does your relationship or partnership with CSFD support your organization or school's objectives and mission?
So we have, as part of our mission, we want to see more students have choices in their future. And in order to do that, to be able to go to college and receive a college credential. But we know that many of them can't do that without extra support. So part of my job is to identify organizations that are assisting those students and really making a difference, helping them to not only enroll, but to persist and also to connect their college education to a future career and then to graduate. And College Success Foundation DC is getting that done. And so our missions are aligned. You are part of a portfolio of organizations that, you know, we can say, this is a wise investment for our board's dollars. And I think the other thing that I really like about the partnership with the College Success Foundation is that it's very, very helpful for us. We work in, not just in Washington, D.C., but in Sarasota, Florida, and Jacksonville, Florida. And it's really helpful for us to have organizations that we can point to their practices and talk about and share their practices with other organizations. Over the years, since we've been working with the College Success Foundation, you know, we've watched them examine what they do, look at how they can get better, introduce new programs, try out new things, innovate. I mean, just our most recent grant has been to bring on a new technology, and they're one of the leaders certainly among our grantees in this, but even among organizations that I know of that aren't our grantees. They're using AI to help support their students through a chatbot. And you know, having an organization that is innovating like this and trying new things and measuring if it works gives us a chance not only to learn ourselves, but to be able to share practices in the field with others that we work with and in other communities that we work in. So I think this has been a great, I would say, partnership for us, because we're giving something, but we're also getting a lot back.
That's been our experience too, Caroline, with how CSF-DC operates. Lots of sharing, which is wonderful. So at NCAN, we try and sometimes succeed in getting national opportunities to help move college access and success forward that we can spread down to the local level. And this year we had a great one in partnership with Capital One. How many of you heard the FAFSA didn't go so well this year? Anyone heard that news, right? FAFSA, if you work in college access and success community, you know that the transition to what someday will be a simpler and easier FAFSA was really rocky this year. Capital One came to us late in the winter and said, we'd like to help. We would like to make, in 20 markets around the country, we would like to make our Capital One cafes available to host FAFSA completion events. But we need local partners who know how to actually do that, because they didn't know how to do the FAFSA, and they didn't know how to reach the students and families who needed the help. So we were able to reach out to our network and found 16 partner organizations around the country that were willing and able to come in and run FAFSA completion workshops, help with the publicity to get the students and families there, give advice about what would be best in terms of how to do that, when to hold the events, how to market them. And here in DC, the Capital One Cafe is located in Southeast DC, a great location to reach many of the students and families that CSF-DC served. And Kevin and his team really stepped in and not only staffed 6 Saturday FAFSA completion workshops, but also assisted with the publicity and outreach. The Deputy Secretary of Education, Cindy Martin, attended one of the events, and we actually had the Washington Post at one of the events. Also local TV news coverage of the events. So not only did those events help the students and families who attended, but also helped NCAN in our efforts to get national and local media attention to the fact that it's not too late to do the FAFSA. Many of the things have been fixed that were initially problems. If you had problems before, it's time to try again. Don't give up. And if you need help in person, please come and we'll help you. And Kevin gave out his personal cell phone number to people who couldn't make the event. So that is the extent to which this organization will go to help students. They literally will do anything possible to help them. And the FAFSA might just seem like one step, but it is such a key moment, and completing it is so critical to whether students have the financial resources to go on to that next step. High correlation rates between FAFSA completion and post-secondary enrollment. So it's no small thanks to folks like Kevin and his team that we did not experience a calamitous drop in FAFSA completion rates this year. We did see a drop for high school seniors, unfortunately, but without their assistance, it would have been much, much worse.
I just want to that was huge.
Yes. So for us, it's a little bit more of the intangibles when it comes to how CSF supports us. And some key examples are this. So I work at a charter school. We have a little bit of money. We ain't got a lot of money. And so we have to be judicious about how we use our resources. In particular, when we're thinking about using our resources to support students who are no longer on our campus and in our fold on a day-to-day, but are still a part of our campus. And this is where CSF has been incredibly helpful for us. So for example, we have alumni that because of our resources, we're not able to reach immediately. We're not able to go and visit. We're not able to kind of respond to the particular needs or concerns that they may have. And this is where CSF has stepped into the gap to help us help our students to meet that finish line. And that's an important marker, especially for students in Ward 7 and 8, where we know that you can get a groundswell of support while you're in high school, but when you're away from home, who is your person? Who's your go-to? Who is the person who, you have a question about the financial aid office, you have a roommate challenge, you have anxieties about being in this new space, you're calling home and home is telling you, hey, just hang in there, or, well, just come back home, don't worry about it. Who is the person you're going to call to kind of give you that motivation, to kind of give you that good word and that good inspiration to kind of keep going? And that is how we have leveraged our relationship with CSF. They have been the eyes and ears on the ground and in spaces where we were not able to be eyes and ears because we don't have the ability and the resources to. The FAFSA completion is definitely key and important, and having CSF support us in terms of getting information about the cafes going on in Southeast, getting the ability to know firsthand what is happening in the landscape. There's so many times, being so far removed from what is happening in the college world, Kevin will call and say, hey, did you know this is coming up? Let your counselors know that this is going on. And it's an informed partnership that doesn't rely on us to always be present, but also relies on this duality of work, this partnership and this exchange of ideas and exchange of information that allows for the entire community to be strong and to grow. And so when I think about, my over 15 years of partnership with CSF, I mean, the first key memory is achievers, and just walking down the aisle and hearing them screaming achievers and seeing how much they were able to take our students on summer experiences that showed them college campuses, that invited them into spaces that they've never been, invited our parents into spaces that they've never been either, and just demystified this idea of college, this intimidating aspect of going on into a four-year school and the idea of going away from home. Taking them on summer tours that, took them outside of DC so they can be exposed to something beyond their usual day-to-day, providing that additional support, again, post the high school experience. That's how CSF has been an incredible partner for us and a way for us to kind of support and meet the gaps that sometimes happen, because we're a school and our primary focus is really on the students who are directly in front of us. And unless we have the resources, sometimes it's hard to see beyond those students into the ones who are in college and in post-secondary spaces. I've also been incredibly fortunate to have several of my students be hired by CSF and are employed or have been employed, or their first time working out of college was with CSF. And we know how incredibly important it is for, not only for you to get into college and get that college degree, but to land that first job that gives you the kind of experience that catapults you into management positions and leadership roles within your organization. And CSF has been an incredible partner on all fronts in the last 15 years that I've been working with them.
Thank you. And for our last question, given your perspectives on the current state or the current climate in the state of education in the United States and the District of Columbia, what do you see or recommend as the next steps for public education in CSF-DC?
So it was hard to just narrow it to one, but, and I'm actually going to say this is CSF public education in DC, but also public higher education and the corporate sector. So I think what I've seen really emerging in this field is, I think we've learned over time that it is really important to start connecting education to career early. And so, you can start exposing students to a variety of types of careers at a younger age. You can start getting them thinking early about the path that they should be taking in high school to prepare for college, and in college to prepare for career. I think public education can start incorporating some of that. Partner organizations can start pulling that in, and I know y'all are already doing that. I think public higher education institutions, that should be baked in. It's going to take some time, but they cannot do it without the private sector. Private sector really, really needs to open themselves up and learn how to host a variety of career exposure and experiences for students from all backgrounds. And that's going to take some intentional work, and it's not easy. And I know there is the idea of a double bottom line or a triple bottom line, and I would say this could be the quadruple bottom line. And it will serve everybody, because the jobs of the future, I hear a lot of talk about we're not going to be ready, we're not going to have the skilled workforce. So it can happen. It's just that it cannot happen without all these players working together. So that would be my recommendation.
Thanks. Keep the promise. Period. There's an interesting trend that's happening in the district that someone who's been here and in this work for several years are seeing. We aimed at first to double the numbers, and then I think we kind of got to that doubling, and then we were excited, and now we want to pivot to some new shiny thing. That we think that students, especially students in Ward 7 and 8, should gravitate towards. And my argument has always been doubling the numbers was only a start. We have to make it become normalized and a part of the lexicon that going to college is a thing. It is the next step. It is the step that will prepare you for career, but it's also the step that encourages you to explore who you are. It gives you a wider runway of areas for you to run, regardless of what career interests you may have. It widens and broadens your artery to understand the world and understand how future trends and what's coming up 30, 40, 50 years down the line as you continue to grow. And if we solely focus on encouraging our young people to choose a career, and choose a career now, and then they're stuck in that career, or there's no avenue for them to get out of it to explore other things, then that's when we kind of end up in a repetitive cycle where we continue to develop tiers and levels within our system that we don't like, but we devote tons of money to supporting to dismantle. And so I encourage College Success Foundation to keep the promise. It is important that children in Ward 7 and 8 understand that they can see themselves in college. It is important that they understand that they can go. It is important that they graduate from high school understanding that college wasn't something that is for X or for Y, but it's something for me, and I chose to do something else. That's a complete difference. The CSF, when I worked closely with CSF, our mission was to ensure that every single graduate knew that they could get into college. How did we do that? We made sure every single student who left either my school or their program left with a college degree, left with a college admissions in their hand. Whether they chose to use it admissions, that is their prerogative. But what they walked out the door knowing was that I had the choice was mine, I know how to do it, I may not exercise it, but I know how to teach my sibling, I know how to teach my kids, I know how to teach my neighbor, I know how to spread that message across the board, even if it's not one that I'm gravitating towards right now. And I'm worried that in our ability to close the wealth gap, in our ability to, in our desire to close the wealth gap, our desire to really meet the mark and meet the moment in these areas, we are really not focusing on a fundamental part that really expands and grows young adults' minds into who they will ultimately become further on. As an immigrant to this country, it was a college education that made me sit here in front of you. My parents knew exactly what was going to happen. It wasn't a question as to, it was so when are we going and what time do we need to drop you off? And don't call me until it's time to graduate. That was pretty much the motto. But that was a unique situation for me, and it can be an open and normalized situation for everyone. And that's the value of a CSF, to ensure that families understand that the conversation can happen, to understand that it's not intimidating to think about going off to college. It's not a sacrifice. You don't have to choose A or B. You can do both, and you can experience both, and A can lead to B, and B can also lead to A, and it can be AB for folks if you understand bio. So definitely want to make sure that CSF continues to absolutely keep the promise.
I just need to say 100% to Sanjay on the equity conversation. We're at a tough place in our country right now where folks are talking about skills being more important than degrees, right? And the problem with that conversation is that we are, if we go down that path, we are on track to track Black and brown students once again into lesser opportunities, lesser lifetime opportunities, and we have to be explicit about that conversation. I have two things to suggest about public education. One is to follow the model of what CSF-DC is doing, and for nonprofits that do college access and success work to partner deeply with their high schools, their public high schools, to build the capacity of those schools and the folks who work in them to understand all the post-secondary options for students, how to cultivate students' identity as future college goers, how to help them navigate the process, investigate careers, understand how to apply, understand what financial aid is. The Pell Grant is the best kept secret in America, right? So organizations like CSF DC are leading the way in partnering with their local high schools to make sure that every student can get that high school experience that sets them up for success. The second thing I would say is that we need to put the public back in public higher education. Our country has disinvested in public higher ed for the last almost 20 years. States spend less now on public higher ed than they did before the Great Recession. And the consequence has been that many folks, most Americans go to college at public institutions. And we have many folks now who look at the cost and they affirmatively check out, right? Because they say, I just can't begin to afford it. So not only am I not gonna go, I'm gonna say I don't wanna go, right? So that's driving a lot of the narrative about, oh, well, is college necessary or anything? We need to reinvest in that. Our economy needs everybody to get education after high school. Our democracy needs everybody. And so what we can all do as advocates is go back to our states and say, why aren't we expanding seats at in public higher ed institutions? Why are we auctioning so many seats off to the highest bidders from out of state, right? It's not right. Everybody, I live in Arlington, Virginia. I want all Virginia high school students to have the opportunity to go to a high quality Virginia public higher ed institution, and right now they don't. So that's something we can also all work on.
Well, thank you. Thank you, Carolyn, Elizabeth, and Sanjay for sitting on this panel with us. We appreciate you. We appreciate your answers and your participation, and more importantly, your partnership with us at CSF-DC. Let's give our panelists a round of applause, please.
Good morning. The good news is I'm the last one here on stage. I promise to be brief, but the bad news is I decide what brief means. Okay, well, I want to say, first of all, to give a heartfelt thank you to Kevin and to our education partners, Sanjay, Caroline, Elizabeth. Thank you for showcasing the incredible power of collaboration. It's the partnership, these type of partnerships that are the backbone of the mission of CSF-DC, and it is really an honor to work alongside such dedicated individuals and organizations. For those I haven't had the privilege of meeting yet, I'm Maggie Nair. I'm the development director here at CSF-DC, and it is so wonderful to see so many familiar faces, and it is also equally excited to welcome new friends into our growing community of support. In the last hour and how long you've been here, I hope you've got the sense of how powerful collective effort is and how that collective effort goes into serving the students of DC in Wards 7 and 8. From our founders' original vision to the continuous innovation and refinement of our model, our goal is to ensure every student in these communities has access to equitable opportunities, opportunities that lead to breaking barriers and creating brighter futures. Our mission at CSF is simple yet profound: to coach and support students from low socioeconomic backgrounds to prepare for and graduate from college as transformational leaders in order to forge a just and equitable society. Over the past 17 years, we've served over 5,000 incredible students, many of whom we've had the privilege of walking alongside for over a decade. Watching our advisors proudly say, "I've known that kid since they were 13. Oh, the things they got into." And witnessing now their students now being adults, successful adults with families and of their own, is one of the greatest joys of our work. But this deep connection happens because of our holistic approach. Yes, we are a college access program, but we are much more than that. We engage deeply with our students and their families to ensure that higher education isn't just a dream, but achievable reality. This is where our 7 life domains come in, focusing on life skills for education, personal and cultural identity, stable housing, health, financial literacy, and most importantly, community. We strive to wrap our students in a support system that sustains them through every challenge. And today, sitting at your tables, we're doing just that, building a community of support for these amazing young people. None of this is possible without partnerships like the ones we've talked about today. Whether it's providing resources for SAT prep, tutoring, our Saturday Academy, or the Summer Enrichment Program, which is all free of charge to our students, thanks to the support that you provide. And companies like PepsiCo, who are not only sponsoring today's event, they're ensuring our students have fuel they need to succeed literally and figuratively. They've pledged to provide snacks for our students throughout the year. Bloommaker, creating these beautiful florals that we get to enjoy today. Thank you for taking a part in really serving the students that we work with on a daily basis. But we are far from done. Today, I'm inviting each of you to become part of this movement, whether it's offering internships, inviting our students to career fairs you may be hosting, or simply spreading the word about our mission. Your involvement can make a world of difference. When we join forces, the potential impact is limitless. When programs like CSF-DC don't exist, too many students, but especially students, Black students and brown students, fall through the cracks. And every time a student falls through those cracks, our society fails. Today, as we stand here, the socioeconomic divide is widening. We cannot afford to let that happen. CSF-DC is not just helping students, we are changing the trajectory of entire communities. Our work leads to greater equity, but to truly make a lasting impact, we need to scale up. The concept is simple. Education leads to financial security, but the work itself is complex. This is not just about scholarships, although those are crucial, but it's about steady mentorship, college tours, emotional support, and so much more. It is layered, and it must be constant. Now, I wouldn't be doing my job if I didn't ask you to consider making one additional contribution to help us this momentum going. If our mission resonates with you, I urge you to donate one last time today. Every dollar matters, and every dollar goes directly to serving our students. So get ready. If you need to connect to a Wi-Fi, the code is Costco 2024. We are $38,000 shy from raising $1 million this morning. That's roughly $95 from each of us here today. And I believe we can surpass our goal. Will you help us get there, please? Here's how your contributions makes an impact. $15 provides a breakfast and lunch for a student attending our Saturday Academy, which we provide. $50 covers 1 hour of tutoring for our students. $100 supplies a student with school materials for the year. $1,300, that funds a college tour that we provide for our students. To make the donation, just text CSF-DC 2024 to 44321, and you'll receive a link to a secure giving site. Please take a moment to donate today. And know that you're investing in the future of our students right here with us. Before we close, I'd like to ask the students in the room, did they leave? No, they're here? I see some. Students, please take a moment to look around and say thank you. Thank you to the individuals sitting at your table, because they're investing in you and your future. To everyone in this room, thank you for your generosity, for believing in our mission, and for standing with us as we work together to uplift, empower, and transform lives. So my very last thing, compliments and Bloommaker. I want to, all of you, look at your chair, and some chairs have a white sticker to your right. If you get a white sticker on the side of your chair, you get to take one of the Amarillo bowls for you. If you get a colored sticker on your chair, you get to take the centerpiece with you. And if you're unable to carry that with you as you travel, give your item to the person who made a donation this morning to support CSF-DC. Thank you, everyone. Thank you for being here and for continued support. Let's continue this incredible journey together. Thank you all.